Hey, this is Mark Silver. We've got MobileMapper Field installed on our mobile device now. Let's make a template job. We can use this template job over and over again if we want to, but let's make a template job on a mobile device. Now, we could make this template in MobileMapper Office on our computer, but most of us wait till the last minute, and we'll just do it on the mobile device. If you can do it there, you can do it on the computer. I'm going to start MobileMapper Field. And I'm going to select Menu and Job and New. Now I want to make a new job called Base Job. And I'd like it to be on the storage disk. I've made a folder called MMF Job. I'm going to put this base job in there. Click Save. Now I'm going to create a new layer. The layers are where we store our attributes. The name of my layer, my first layer, is going to be PC for Property Corner. So let's pick PC, click on OK. It's going to be on the storage disk. It's going to be in the folder MMF Job, and it's going to be a 3D point shapefile. Now we've got two choices here for shapes, for points. We've got a 2D point shapefile and a 3D. The 2D point shapefile does not store any elevation data. There's no reason to ever pick it unless you're trying to save space. So I'm going to pick the 3D point shapefile, click on Save. Now we need to pick a horizontal control system. I'm going to pick USA NAD83 Cores 96. So I'm going to have MobileMapper Field do a conversion from ITRF 2005, which is what we get from a WASP satellite, to NAD83 Cores 96. And we're going to be working in Utah Central. And I'd like to use Geoid 09. Now I've covered the difference between ellipsoid, EGM84, Geoid 09, Geoid 12A in a different video. And so you can read about that there. Suffice it to say, Geoid 09 is an orthometric elevation. This will generate elevations that match those that you see on a topo map. And ellipsoid will generate ellipsoidal elevations, and they'll be about 100 feet off from what you're used to seeing. Click on OK here. I'm going to pick circle. And then for my attributes, my first attribute I want to do is a description. So and this will just be someplace I can type in something short that describes the point that I'm taking. My next attribute, I'd like to do a menu item. Now the advantage of a menu item, I'm going to call it TYP. TYP. The advantage of a menu item is we can get everyone on the same page. So for instance, I'm going to have true corners. So it'll be a corner. I might have an accessory. Misspelled. And I might have other. It's always good to have an other. Okay, in addition to the type, I might like to have a picture. If I take a picture, I can associate a picture with a point when I take it. I'd also like to have a sound. Sounds are convenient if we have a corner and we can't quickly describe it in a few characters. We can talk about it in a voice note. Also like to have the date that I store the corner. So when we record a corner, this will automatically store the date. And then let's put in the time. That's down here. And let's put in the number of satellites. So we can have MobileMapper Field automatically fill in the number of satellites that are in the sky when we acquire a point. We can also have put in the PDOP, and we can have it automatically fill in the status. That'll be autonomous, DGPS, float or fixed. And we put in the HRMS, so this will be the horizontal root mean squared, the 1 sigma estimate of error. And then finally, let's do the VRMS. So these values here at the bottom, the date, time, the number of satellites, the PDOP, the status, HRMS, and VRMS, they're going to be filled in automatically by the GPS receiver when we store this point. Now down here on the bottom, we can pick the Label tab, and we get to pick which one of these attributes is displayed on the map on the device screen when we're collecting data. So we're going to put the contents of the description up there. Do we like to add another layer? Absolutely. I'd like to make a new layer that's going to be a 3D polyline. And I'm going to call the polyline out boundary, I think. It's going to be the outside boundary. B-O-U-N-D-R-Y. So this will be the outside boundary of whatever I'm storing, but it's going to be stored as a polyline. It's going to be stored on the storage disk in the same folder with the job and the other shapefiles that we've created. Now, MobileMapper field doesn't ask me the projection that I'd like to have this second shapefile in. Everything in a job has to be the same projection. So that's just the way it is. So for the outside boundary, let's choose a red line. Let's make it a thin red line. And then for the attributes, again, let's add a description, DESC. And then let's add the date and time to start off with. Let's see, that's going to be date, D-A-T-E, and time. And then when we're storing a polyline, we can have the program automatically fill in the length of the line. So we're going to store a line. When we close the line, the GPS receiver will calculate the length of the line and store that length into a field value. We could store in the PDOP and the number of satellites here, but for a line they're not as meaningful because they're stored with reference to the last vertex in the line. So we could collect a whole bunch of points that had great satellite visibility, step underneath a tree, finish the line out, and then store values that would be misleading. So we're done with this polyline. Let's add a third layer, and let's call it a control point, CP. I'm going to use this as a second point. We'll make it a 3D point file. And I'm going to store a separate series of control points onto this layer. And for that one, let's have a description. And let's see, let's choose a triangle for control point. And then for attributes, we'll do a description, DESC. And let's do a date. And let's do a time. And then let's do the number of satellites. And let's do a PDOP. Okay, we've got a second point attribute. And we're going to store description, and then date, time, number of satellites, PDOP, status, HRMS, and VRMS. All of those are going to be automatically filled in by the GPS receiver. Again, we're going to store the description, or we're going to show the description on the map. And then I'd like to add a final layer, and I'm going to call it PG for polygon. PG. And this is going to be a 3D polygon file. And for this, we'll pick a blue line with a diagonal fill. And we'll just do a description for the polygon. And then we also can automatically fill in the perimeter. And I think usually it makes more sense to have 6 digits after the decimal point. And then we can also automatically fill in the area. Again, I'm going to use the description on the polygon to label it, and I'm good to go. So I'm going to close the MobileMapper field, and I'll meet you outside and we'll collect some data.